So the first question I like to ask is what do you do and what do you do when you're not doing what you do? In other words, what do you do for work and what do you do for pleasure?
All right. So I'm a technical project manager for Cisco. I work on the registration sites for our global events, and I travel maybe 3 or 4 times a year to our programs where I am on my feet for about 10 days, and then I'm usually at my desk the rest of the year. When I'm not working, I like to travel. I've been to, I think, 3 countries already this year. I like to do different activities in the city. Austin always has something going on. So I'm usually gone all weekend trying to, find something to do. And then also the movies. I love going to the movies. I try to go at least once a week.
All right, my next question is so I like to have people kind of paint a picture of their martial arts or fitness journey, whatever, however you define it. Um, and I usually think of it in three parts. So I think of it as like there's before fighting fit, what things have you done in the past? What got you interested? How did you, like what led you to our doorstep, basically? What things did you do in the past, and then what got you interested in getting started with us? We'll start there, and I'll ask you the next question.
Okay. So I did karate as a child, young child. think I started at like maybe 6 or 7 and went all the way up until I got my black belt. And then my parents said that I could either keep going or at that point I could quit. And of course, being a stupid teenager, I quit. Wish now that I kept going. But then when I got to Austin, or I guess between that, I was, in school, graduating college, and then working, and I was just trying to get by. But then when I got to Austin and I got a little bit more settled, I was looking for something to do. And so a couple friends of mine and we did ClassPass and hopped around and did probably 10 or 11 different studios, trying different things. We did Pilates and ballet and sword fighting, oddly enough, and then found Fighting Fit and took a couple of classes. I think we started with like 5. And then once I took Hannah's class, I was sold. And it was just a great all over workout. It was nice to have someone who was kind of counting on you to be there. Would text me in the mornings to make sure that I went because I'm a morning workout person. And that's how I kind of got going. And I think that was like 6 or 7 years ago now. So I've been with Fighting Fit for quite some time. I just love going. It's such a great all over workout. And because it's in the mornings, I feel like the rest of my day is kind of set after that. I'm a little bit more relaxed to start my workday after kicking something. And I also just know that I got my workout in the morning, so I don't have to think about it after work. Um, I do, it also helps me kind of just stay more active throughout the rest of the day because I sit all day at work. So because I work from home, I can just, pop out and take a quick walk around the neighborhood anytime I want. And I feel like when I start my day with my workout, I tend to stay more active throughout the rest of the day.
You might just given me the whole video right there. That's awesome. I'll still ask my questions, but you kind of answered kind of the next two for sure. But if something comes to your mind, feel free to say it. But also, if nothing comes to your mind, you also don't have to say it. But I usually like to ask what people's first impressions were. When they first come in, that can be anything from their first conversation over the phone to the first workout to the first week. Do you have anything else that you want to say about kind of your initial impressions of the gym?
I guess my initial impression, it was probably my third class when by the time I was like, okay, yep, I need to stop ClassPass and just switch to Fighting Fit full time, um, was, it was just an interesting dynamic. I personally, I don't love sparring. So it was probably my first experience with just doing bag work the whole time. And so I could hit as hard or as soft as I want. And honestly, this is weird, but I love that there's no mirrors because mirrors make me so incredibly self-conscious and So I've stopped going to places that have like the room full of mirrors because I'm just so uncomfortable the whole time. And they say like, oh, you'll eventually adjust, or you'll use the mirrors to adjust your format or your form. But having the coach there, and a lot of our classes were probably less than 10 in the beginning because I did the super early morning ones. I felt like I actually got that one-on-one attention and adjusted my form where I needed, but I wasn't just self-conscious the whole time, and I could really get lost in the workout instead of just staring at myself and looking at all of my flaws. So that was probably my first impression, was that I love the sparring. I love not having to spar with somebody and just being able to do bag work, and then not being, consumed with mirrors or being sold something the whole time, or it was just, get in, work out, make a connection with your coach, but you don't have to like do this whole buddy system or anything weird, and then you're done.
What classes do you do? What do you like? What are your favorite things that you do in class? You know, again, you've kind of answered all these, but I'll throw it out there just because sometimes people have more to say that I'm like, oh, I'm glad I asked that.
Okay. So I do the morning kickboxing classes. For a while, when we were having like kind of not really double classes, but the Muay Thai coach was doing the kickboxing classes. My favorite thing to do was to ask him at the end of each class about something that I either saw on TV or something that I thought about, or something that even happened, about how to get out of a situation. So I would say like, hey, Corey, what if somebody grabs you from behind? And we would demo, and he would show me different techniques of how to get out of that. And we started calling it my bar fight of the week questions. So it was just kind of random, weird little situations, but it was interesting to see kind of the application process of what we were learning in class, more so into just bringing that into everyday life, because it's getting kind of treacherous out there. So that's probably one of my favorite things. And then I love the balance activities. I surprisingly learned to love the stations. So you do like the ladder at one and then kicking at the next one. That was something that I started off hating, but I kind of enjoy it, just kind of switching it up every, I think, 2 or 3 minute rounds. This is probably all my favorite.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely yeah, I'm gonna try and squeeze that the story in about the bar fight questions. Yeah, I like that. All right, next question. What surprised you most since you joined?
Um, let's see, probably my progress. It surprised me the most, just because I've always been kind of uncoordinated and I don't have great balance in general. I'm very clumsy, but just kind of getting better slowly at different things, and kind of just seeing that progress. In the beginning, they, ask us to do a move, and I would think I could never do that. Like, I'll get as close as I can, but I'm never going to be great at that. And then seeing, after not as long as I would think, just a few weeks, I could, do the standing kicks in place for a solid minute without having to put my foot down, or getting that Superman punch down, which it looks crazy whenever anybody else does it, but I can actually kind of do it with a little bit of finesse. So kind of just seeing the improvement of things, and being able to break down a move and actually accomplish it.
Yeah, there's something about the Superman punch. It just feels so good. It like scratches an itch, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then next question, what have you found to be most valuable?
Let's see, probably the stamina that I've built up, being able to complete an entire like 50-minute class or 45-minute class. In the beginning, it was kind of rough, where like the first 15 minutes I was good, and then I was kind of going downhill after that. But being able to get up to and maintain energy throughout the whole class has probably been the most valuable, because I think it's kind of what helped me balance through the rest of the day, and um, just kind of get that metabolism going in the morning, and or keep the energy going in the morning, and keeping that up throughout the rest of the day, I think has probably been the most, it sounds weird, but it's probably been the most valuable.
What things have you accomplished since joining that you're most proud of?
Things that I've accomplished. Just getting back into fitness in a regular pattern. Before this, I was working so much and traveling so much that I wasn't really like traveling for work so much that I wasn't really prioritizing fitness. And I think since coming to Fighting Fit, I've definitely started to prioritize my fitness and I realize what an asset it is, especially as I get older. I can see that this is something that I need to do regularly, if not daily, at least, several times per week. And I think that's something that I've accomplished and that is probably the best asset.
That's awesome. And actually, I should ask, um, how long have you been a member?
It's a hard question, only because I can't remember. I want to say it's been 6 years, maybe seven, off and on, but I think 7 years. I've been a member with Fighting Fit for about 7 years now.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say that maybe I didn't ask a good question? Imagine that I asked that question. What would you say that what other things might you want to say?
Actually, probably just one thing I really enjoy about Fighting Fit is honestly my connection with you, Forrest, and the fact that I feel like I can text you or Sarah anytime with anything that I need. And I feel like you guys do listen whenever I ask questions. You do follow up with me. I asked after, post COVID when morning classes were coming back, and you were always responsive and you guys helped and made sure that I knew when morning classes were coming back so that I could attend those. And if I ever had any questions about my account or things that were coming up, you and Sarah are just super responsive and helpful. And it's nice to have that, kind of connection with the owner of a business. You're not joining like a large gym where you feel like just a number. I feel like you guys both know my name and I know your names. And you guys do come in and teach classes, and I feel like I can reach out to you.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Yeah.